Oh, there you go. Yeah, it was. Yeah, no. Right now it's exhausting. While it's happening, it's pretty chaotic. But you don't really notice it. But now, now, yeah, when you get a chance to sit back and you think about how many different ways it could have went the other way, from regulation, or really from the 5-minute mark all the way through to the second overtime. Just a multitude of things that went on, mind-boggling and mind-numbing. But the good thing is, as a staff, we won't even have to watch this game today. We'll watch it when we get home because now we get to just focus on Michigan State. I don't want to relive that today.
You know, it is going to go down as a legendary game. It is. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're in it, are you thinking this is?
You know you're a part of that was a special game. I mean, that was a special non-conference game, and the amount of shot making and playmaking and athleticism and skill and will. I mean, those obviously two teams that are going to have the potential to have a great, great year and could see each other, in the NCAA tournament. That's a heck of a first round. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to the great Lee Miller about the seeding, but that seemed like a heck of a tough first round game.
It was enjoyable for the fans.
Yeah, no, and that's what a great promoter does, like Lee. It was a great game, and it was a great matchup, and it was matchups make great games, and we're two athletic teams that like to get up and down the court and get after each other, and that could when two teams like that get together, you could have a classic game.
Danny, it sounds like you were ready for such an intense deal here.
Yeah.
But were you surprised at all? It was so intense.
No, we knew. I watched their film, and I was sick when we got through our fourth game at home, and I watched them. I think it was either it was against Moorhead, and they were out 33-5 or 33-4, and just their attacking style, their athleticism, their depth, just their length, the great coaching, everything that they bring to the table. I mean, again, like an 8-team tournament. I mean, talk about the quality of this event. Like us two playing in the first game, man. It's a hell of an event.
The end of regulation, you guys had blown a double-digit lead and had that wild stretch at the end. End of the first overtime, you hadn't gone the way you had it there. How did you sort of address that with the guys coming into the second overtime, and how did you feel, the pulse of that group was at that point going into that last overtime?
Yeah, I mean, we're prepared for this. We go 11 months a year, so we're an 11-month-a-year program. We don't work 5 months a year, or we don't start. We don't have optional summer sessions, and we don't start getting ready in October. I mean, we go 11 months a year. So our guys are they're tough and they're battle tested, and the program's been through a lot. We've had to climb these last couple of years. We were horrible a couple of years ago, and we're finally climbing this mountain and getting good again and starting to resemble UConn again. And we're not going to let you knock us off that easily when we're trying so hard to get this thing back to what where UConn should be. So you got to try to kill us to beat us. Phil, you had one here. She made the trip. I know, Gavin.
Hey Dan, what kind of allowed you to win this game? I mean, maybe last year probably wouldn't have won this game. Well, what's the difference? It's just your experience. Is all the veterans? What's kind of behind that?
Depth. Obviously, the foul trouble was incredible. The amount of guys that were either had 4 or fouled out. There was a lot going on. Just having, returning 8 guys, bringing in a freshman who's got a chance to be a special player in Jordan Hawkins, and that stretch Jordan had in the first half was really was electrifying. I think it did a lot for our confidence. Tyler too, and then when you get center point guard play the way we got from RJ and Adama, you're hard to beat.
And just when
Gavin followed up.
Okay, on the timeout, Dan, when down 21-10, kind of what was the message?
it's going to be a long game. We talked about adversity. I mean, we knew what this was. We started preparing the guys on Sunday. They knew what they'd be dealing with today with this opponent. So we talked about adversity and the fact that this was going to feel like, if you're a wrestling fan, like a steel cage match, or if you're a UFC fan, it was a octagon. We knew that two monsters were going to get locked in a cage today.
Speaking of Adama, he went through his own personal adversity. It felt like in the game with a strong start, then he couldn't find the rim, and then he came through late.
Yeah.
How did you see him kind of mature within the game itself? In that sense?
Yeah, I mean, he's a special player, and his work ethic is, it's becoming legendary in our program with with his daily routine and everything he puts into this thing. He comes from a great background. His pedigree is amazing with his family, and so he just knew he had the character to handle the storms that arise during the game.
Take one more Zoom.
What's up, Tom?
Hey, what's up, Dan? Can you, in a game like that, and you've talked about adversity, and you've talked about the steel cage match and those things, the value of having those fifth-year guys who've been through so many excruciating losses in their career, in a situation like they're in today, sticking to it even when things went bad. Can you speak to the value that has?
Yeah, I mean, their evolution, the last third of year two, when we went 9-2 down the stretch, and then won our last 5 and going into the AAC tournament, we had as good a chance as anyone to win the conference tournament. That's really when things turned here, and and guys like Isaiah and Tyler, and even RJ was a part of the program back then. They get their fingerprints all over that. So just when you go through that type of, again, the climb, the going from bad to good to winning huge games last year to get an at-large bid to playing at the top of the Big East, that just it changes your culture. You got a winning culture. You believe in yourself. You believe you're going to win games like this.
So going through a scene like that, prevailing through that, immediately change a team versus if you lost, I wonder how demoralizing could that have been? It's like you can go one or two ways with something like this. How valuable is this immediately for you guys, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it crossed my mind not during the game. It does not. But when when I had a chance to sit up here, the thought of like losing in double overtime there and then having to play Loyola tomorrow, that's a real nightmare situation. I mean, that's like bad. I mean, and I don't even know what time that game would have been. So, I don't know, 2:30. Yeah, what time we play tomorrow? Oh, shit. So, so I don't know. I think it's like, I don't even want to think about that. Michigan State, UConn tomorrow at noon is, like that. There's been some classic battles between those two incredible brands. And it'll be an honor to coach against Tom Izzo. Guys like Tom Izzo and my dad and Coach Calhoun, been coaches I've looked up to and tried to model the way I coach after. So it'd be an honor to share the sideline with him tomorrow, and the brand game is awesome.
Dan, did you have your guys watch the first game out of the Michigan State game?
Assistant coaches.
So
Yeah.
do they do it, are they up till 2 in the morning doing sky reports for you?
Yeah. So, yeah.
3 games in 3 days?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to get a limited window. You got to walk through tonight. We'll probably walk through things twice today, and just going to, obviously, we're not going to be able to do anything tomorrow. We're just going to, wake up and let it rip, so.
Dan, when you recruited Adama
out of Patrick's school,
Yeah.
he played with was Kamingo on that team?
Yeah, Kamingo's on that team.
What did you see that was special about him? Because he was,
Yeah.
I won't say he was in the shadows, but he certainly was
Yeah.
not the headliner he was today.
Yeah. He's like a Montrezl Harrell type of, initially when I saw him, I said, that's Montrezl Harrell, with the low post game. And it was a tough recruitment because it was during COVID, so we couldn't actually get a campus visit. So we just zoomed the heck out of him. We zoomed him into submission to get the commitment. But we knew, special. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this is the last one. Is there any update on what exactly happened with Isaiah, and is he okay?
Yeah, it was just he had a fainting episode. I think he just stood up too quick. I don't even know it's necessarily, I mean, the dude did play 43 minutes of incredible defense versus top 5 pick. So I just think he got up too quick. I don't even think it's like an IV bag dehydration thing. I just think he stood up too quick. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.